Hi, I'm Perry Lynn from Hively. We've spent the past year talking to teachers and parents trying to identify the biggest challenges in distance learning. And what we've found is that oftentimes the biggest problem is the student's schedule. Parents have to navigate a mess of meeting links and emails and keeping track of multiple classes and homework assignments. Up until now, there's been no consolidated place where a student can sign in and look at all of their classes and their homework assignments. But we've fixed that problem. Hively has developed a distance learning solution with industry-leading security and safety built in that integrates perfectly with Google Classrooms. And this is a recorded webinar designed to show you how to get started and get comfortable using it. I hope it helps.
We're going to be walking you through activating your Today page from start to finish. So just a quick overview. Again, I'm Haley. We have Jake here as well. We've got our introductions out of the way. Now we're going to be walking you through the steps to activate your Today page, and then we're going to have a question time after that. So what we're looking at right now is the finished product. So today I'm going to show you how you're going to be building this Today page. As you can see here, we have events and meetings. We have a period 2, 7th grade life science that ended 6 hours ago, yesterday. But we also have an active period 6, 8th grade physical science with resources over here and the Join Now meeting right below the teacher's picture. So again, today we're going to show everything that it takes to build this page for your teachers, your students, and your parents. All right. Let me switch over to a different screen. All right, so what we're looking at right now, this is our Hively website. This is where you can go to log in if you are an existing Hively school, teacher, or admin, or I'm gonna start with showing you how to get Hively. So this is how you are going to create your school. I'm gonna start off just by clicking Get Hively. That is going to take me to my Create Your School screen. I'm going to enter whatever name. If you are an admin, enter your name. If you're a teacher, you can go ahead and enter your name, but most likely you will be signing in to an existing school created by your admin team. So we're going to go ahead and enter a name right here, last name as well. We're going to insert an email right here. And create a password. This can be anything you want it to be. We're going to click sign up for free. Then we're going to enter our school name. I'm going to create a new one. I've already used that one before. And insert a website link. So if your school has a public domain, go ahead and insert that as well. You can always enter your address, city, and phone number later. Once you bare minimum have the school name and your website, you're going to click continue. And that is going to create your school. So just by that process alone, you've now created your Hively school. Right now, we are in the school-wide section. So this is where you can have school-wide announcements feed into your parents and family members. Right off the bat, we are going to create our people upload. So in order for this big machine to work, we gotta have our people data. Once you click on people, the people section, that will take you to the upload option. So you can add individual people one by one. I do not recommend you do that. I'm sure you guys have, quite a few parents, students, and staff. So that is why we have our bulk uploader tool labeled as bulk add. Once I click on that, that will take me to a couple of options. Right under it says download CSV template. That is the template that you are going to download if you do not already have your data in a CSV file format. CSV, when I first started working here, I had no clue what that meant. CSV template is basically a fancy way of saying an Excel spreadsheet. So it's a column separated template, and that allows our system to then take that information and upload it in the correct format. So you are welcome to download our CSV template if need be. You also can go ahead and select upload CSV file with data if you already have your data organized into a CSV format. I already have that, so I'm going to go ahead and click upload CSV file. Once I click that button, it will take me to my download section of my computer. I'm on a Mac, but if you have a PC, this will function very similar. I'm going to go ahead and select my template that I've downloaded, and we're going to click open. That will then upload the information. Right now, it takes me to a preview screen of the template that I'm using. And once I click preview, I will actually see my data that I am uploading. And you can see here that we have the person type, their first name, last name, email, and if they are a student, we have their class homeroom. You can also see in the status bar that they are valid, meaning they are good to be uploaded. We don't see any issues with the data. Once I click start upload, it's going to upload all of my people data, and you will get a complete message. Uploading is finished. You can now download the CSV with people IDs or navigate to the people page. So let's go ahead and head back to our people page to view this data in real time. So you can see right off the bat, I have all my students uploaded. If I go ahead and exit out of this people search bar, it will bring up all 12 of my people. All right, so it looks good. Now, what are we going to do with this data? Well, it is time to set up the academic periods. This is really when we're going to start building the Today page. So I'm going to go ahead and expose my sidebar menu navigation. I'm going to scroll down to the Administration tab and click on Grade Settings. This is going to bring me to the back end of the operating station. We're going to click on Academic Period, and you will see that I'm listed in trimesters. This can be trimesters, this can be quarters, this can be semesters, this can be whatever grading period, academic periods your school is operating on. I'm going to go ahead and change this date to August 6th, just to have it be starting today so we can see everything. If I make any changes on this page, I'm going to always want to click Save. Now that that's saved, I'm going to navigate back to my group page and make sure all my groups are labeled correctly, or if I need to add groups, I can do that as well. Again, back to the Administration tab, and we're going to click on Groups. This is going to take me to my classrooms that are currently set up. Again, we have K through 8 automatically populated, but you can change those titles, or you can add a new group if necessary. Now that I've had my groups, I have second grade set up. I'm going to pick on second grade today just because I feel like it, but these are the same steps that you will take for every single group or class level. I'm going to navigate to the Classroom and Groups dropdown again from that side navigation, and I'm going to expand to Show All, and I'm going to click on my second grade classroom. This now takes me to my class homepage. Again, it looks very similar to the school-wide page, but this is limited to the second grade family. So parents, students, and staff that are members of the second grade, they are the only ones that have access to this page. I'm going to start by building my courses by clicking on the Course tab in the left-hand corner. It says no courses to display here. Let's go ahead and add a few courses by clicking on Add New Course. I'm going to select the course title. I'm going to start with a math class. Select homeroom. I'm going to select second grade as my homeroom. We can see that that primary teacher is Jason Murphy, who I am logged in as. So that's going to be our primary teacher. I'm going to start off with, right off the bat, I'm in my Students tab. So I need to add my second graders. I'm going to click on Add Students. It automatically populates into second grade. Let's use our imagination. If I was in third grade, that would automatically populate into third grade. Whatever the homeroom I have denounced as the homeroom, that will correspond with my student levels. I'm going to go ahead and add all of my second graders. I'm going to click Save, and then I'm going to move to Schedule. If I click on Schedule, this is going to let me know it's time to set up my period schedule, so my timetables of my classes. If I click on periods right from the middle of the page, that will take me to the schedule period setup screen. I'm going to go ahead and add a new period. I can change this name to whatever it needs to be. If this is just the regular schedule, I can denote that as the regular schedule. Also, I want to make sure that I have my days correct. If this is a Monday through Friday schedule, go ahead and make sure that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are checked. If it's only maybe a block schedule and this is only applying to Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, go ahead and make sure that those days are checked, or the opposite, maybe only Tuesday and Thursday need to be checked. Either way, make sure you have all the days you want to schedule this for checked. Next, let's add some periods. I'm just going to click this blue add button to add all of my periods. Maybe you have more than 6, that's totally fine. Go ahead and click add until you have your right amount of periods. We also have the auto-populated times of these periods, but you can change these to be whatever makes sense or whatever you need them to be. Once this is correct and I have all of my periods as schedulable, I'm going to click save. So now I have my first period schedule. Let's go back to the class page. Again, I am in 2nd grade. And once we're back here, we're going to add in our resources. So this resources tab right in the top navigation, this is where you will go to add resources. Right now, I only have math in there, so I can add a math resource if need be. I am also going to go back and add a couple more resources just so our Today page looks really nice and built out. If I need to add a new course, I'm going to go ahead and add a new course. This time I'm going to add a science class. Again, with 2nd grade, Jason as my teacher. I'm going to add my students and save. Now, say I want to add another course, we can go back. This time I'm going to add a reading course, 2nd grade, Jason as a teacher. I'm going to add all. Now, I want to point out one trick of the trade here. We also have a bulk edit section. If I were to click that, I can edit all of my 2nd grade classes. So I can add in my students and make sure my primary teacher is set homeroom as well. Or you can do it one by one, which I just did, but that bulk edit will definitely save you some time. So let's go back to math. Just look over, I have all my students reading, have all my students. Jason is set as the teacher, same with science. Now let's go back to our home page and let's add in some resources. Now that resource page will look a little bit more bulky with some more courses in there. So if I click on my resource tab, I can see that now I have areas for my math resources, my science resources, and my reading resources. Let's go ahead and add in a math resource. This, as you can see, these are web-hosted URL resources. So that could be a YouTube video, that can be a Khan Academy link, or another web-hosted format. If you have a PDF that you want to be listed as a resource, that's totally fine. Go ahead and upload that to your Google Drive if you are familiar with Google. And then once you have that Google Drive link of the PDF, you can upload that to your resources and it will be hosted on the web. For now, let's go ahead and add a YouTube video for this math class. Let's see if I can find a good one here. So again, you can just pull up YouTube or the other link for maybe Khan Academy, which I'll do in just a second. But let's go ahead and maybe add a multiplication song for these 2nd graders. See what YouTube has as a good multiplication song. Let's do the mashup one. So again, I won't make us listen to that, although it would be fun. Let's go ahead and grab that link up at the top, go back to our 2nd grade resources, paste that link. The resource title and image URL will automatically populate for you. You don't have to worry about that. And click add. And there we have our first math resource. Let's go ahead and add a science resource. Let's go ahead and add Khan Academy. If I can spell it correctly, that would be lovely. All right, let's get that Khan Academy link. So this can link to your course, or if you just need the login screen, we can do that as well. So again, grab that link, come back to your class resource page, paste that link, title, and image URL will automatically populate, and I'm going to add that to my science resource. Just to see it one more time, let's go ahead and add our reading resource. Let's go back to YouTube and maybe grab the Little Prince as a resource for this second grade reading. Alrighty. Let's grab that link again, copy that link, go ahead and paste it into the URL. Title and image will auto-populate and add. Now we've built out some resources. We don't have a limit about how many resources you guys can add. Whatever resources you are choosing to utilize for that subject, add them in. Now, we are almost ready to view our built out today page, but we have one more aspect. Hybrid distance learning, meaning these kids might not be in the classroom. That's okay. We're going to add in a meeting link. So if I go back to my course tab and I'm in math, reading, and science, I see my courses. Now I'm going to click that schedule. So as we're looking at our schedule page, you can see that I have an area to add a meeting, and then I have where I'm going to schedule my periods. Let's go ahead and do the periods first. You can see again, these are organized by trimester, that academic period screen that this is pulling from. If I go ahead and click on the drop down for Monday, I can see that I want my math class to be, we'll make that period 3. It automatically selects that for Monday through Friday, but you can individually change those if that applies for those different days. Next, I'm going to select if my students are going to be at home or at school. We'll say they're going to be at home for trimester 1 for math. They will be at home for period 3. Trimester 2, again, we're sticking with period 3, but they're going to be on campus for trimester 2. Trimester 3, same thing, period 3, and they are going to continue to be at school. Our last piece of this is that add meeting button. If I click add meeting, it gives me 2 options. One, I can utilize our Hively meeting platform. It functions very much like Zoom or Google Classroom. Or if you are more comfortable continuing to use Zoom or Google Classroom or a Loom feature, you can link that right here. For this demo, I'm going to select the Hively meeting, and I can see now I have my meeting scheduled. I have a meeting link created, and we know that my kids are going to be in second grade math for period 3. For trimester 1, they are going to be at home. I'm going to save this course, and I'm going to move on to my reading course. Again, I know that reading is now going to be period 4, and kids are going to be at home for trimester 1. I'm going to go ahead and repeat this process for all 3 of my courses and grading periods. Last piece is to go ahead and add that meeting and save. Nextly and lastly, I have my science class. We're going to go ahead and make this period 5, select where the students are going to be for all 3 grading periods. And last piece, add that meeting in save course. All right, so now we have just built out our second grade classes. We have our math, reading, and science, and they are ready to go. Students are in the classes. So now we can go ahead and check out our today page. And voila, we have a fully built out schedule for students. Now, I am logged in as a teacher, so this is what the teacher would see for his or her day. They would have all of their meetings listed. If a student were to log in, they would see this exact same screen, except they would be a student and they would see all of their student classes. They would also see any homework that is assigned right at the bottom. Let's go ahead and join a meeting and see what that looks like. So I click join meeting. Keep in mind, and you can see me right here, keep in mind, I didn't have to bother with any links. I didn't have to mess around and make sure those links were correct. That join now meeting automatically took me to the waiting room of my Thursday class. And you can see our resources are carrying over right under the event info. If I click join now, that's going to bump me into our Hively meeting software. And let's let it load. And then you can see it looks very much like a Zoom or Google Meet Hangout. Again, students have access to these resources throughout the entirety of the meeting. All right. And then we can see we have one coming up, period 4, which starts at 11, and period 5, which starts at 12. All righty. So you guys, we just built our whole Today page. We did a scheduling, we added in resources, and the biggest thing is we uploaded all of our people. So we just did a lot in 20 minutes, maybe 27 minutes, but we just did a lot. Now you're ready to go. Your students can join meetings, your teachers can teach the classes, and your parents can log in and see what each of their students are doing for the day. Voila, I know it's so anticlimactic, it's dead silent. But so now if you guys have any questions or want to see maybe some variations of that, now is your time. Jake, I will stop sharing my screen for a minute, or if you want to jump in here and let me know if we have any questions, concerns, other comments.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the very good questions that was just posed is, what about a hybrid learning platform? How are we going to address some students in class and some students at home?
Perfect. That's a great question. And that's a very real question too, as a lot of our schools are facing, can I have everyone on campus? Is no one going to be in campus? Or can I do a mix of the two? So our software is fully capable of organizing your students into what we are calling cohorts. So again, from this course's screen, from the class page, I can go ahead and organize my cohorts. So if I go to that scheduling tab again, right next to periods is a section for cohorts. So if I click on that, that will take me to the assign cohort screen. I'll select second grade for now. As you can see, I have all of my students listed, but let's go ahead and create a segment. I'll do a blue group and a green group. And you can see, you can have more than 2. You can see you can just continue to add them. If you have a really big class, you may need more than 2, but for now, we'll just do 2. Let's go back. I'm going to grab second grade. And now you can see I have 2 classes. I can move them over individually, or I can click auto balance, and that will, obviously I have an odd number, but that will balance it for me, and then I can change as need be. Once I have these set up, I can go ahead and click save. Now this does change another area in the scheduling piece. So let's go back to second grade and view how adding in a cohort may have changed my period schedule. So in schedule, you can now see that I have my blue and green cohorts listed for periods. So these are going to be, if the blue cohort is home, then that means green is going to be at school. And so on and so forth, and we can save that. So that's a great question, Jake. Any other questions related to hybrid or anything else that we went over today? Or jokes? We can just tell jokes too. I know it's already August. Jake, anything else from that chat section?
Yeah, we just got a great question as well about integrating with Google Classroom. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Definitely. So our software does integrate with Google Classroom. Let's go ahead and go back to these class pages in second grade. So we have our calendar section in each of our class pages. This does function much like a Google Classroom area or a Google Calendar. But our heaviest piece of integration is with Team Drive. So with this resources piece, you can link your Team Drive here as a resource. Again, in our gradebook, which I didn't touch upon today, but our Hively gradebooks do integrate and sync with Google Classroom. And what that means is I will go into course details, report settings. Okay, I don't see the linkage, but we can sync your Hively gradebook to a brand new Google Classroom. So if you assign out tests, homework assignments, things like that, and whatever you grade in Google Classroom will be pulled back into your Hively gradebook. That was another great question, Jake. Thank you. Any other questions so far? Teachers usually have the best questions.
Yeah, Haley, we just got another good question wanting to know a little bit about the attendance process.
Sure thing. That's a great question. So as part of our Hively software, we do have a fully robust attendance tracker. Right now, we just don't have that linked to this new school I set up, but I can switch schools to show you that attendance area. Give me just a few seconds. Stay with me, everybody. I'm going to switch over to another one of our test schools so we can view our attendance feature. So this school is called Pineview. Let's go into a class page, click on attendance, and this is where teachers do take attendance for the day. Again, there's no students involved, so let me pick a different class page, go into and show you our attendance grid right here. This is what our attendance feature looks like. You can see we have all of our students. It does go by the month view. To enter attendance, we can click on the date. Again, we can mark all as present and then go ahead and mark the few that were not present and click submit. So that's part of our attendance feature. Another one of our forthcoming hybrid features will be that if you choose to utilize a Hively Meet from that add meeting section, you will have a running attendance record also that teachers can view from our meeting platform. Did that answer all attendance questions? Yes, no, maybe so.
Yeah, that did answer the attendance questions. We got another great question asking if anybody needs help with data and setup. Is that available?
That is available. Our bulk people ad, it's pretty robust. It should get all of your people in the system, but you are always welcome to contact us at support. I will switch back over to my presentation here. Click through this so you guys can see our support options. Again, like it says right on this page, our team is here to help. You have a support@behively.com email address that will reach us directly, or you can call our phone number, which is 888-851-4879, and we can get support to you that way as well.
And we have another good Google Classroom question. If
Okay.
resources are posted on Google Classroom, will they also post on Hively or vice versa?
Can you repeat the first part of that question?
Yeah, certainly. If a resource is posted into the Google Classroom, will it also post on Hively?
Right. So right now, that answer is going to be no, but that is another area of our Google Classroom integration that we are exploring currently. So while it's not functional now, that may be something to look forward to in the near future.
And I've got another great question here for you, Haley. Will each teacher need to create their own class page amidst everything they have going on, or will administrators? How is that going to work?
So that's a great question because that is kind of up to the school about how they want to task out what they want their teachers to do. If each individual teacher wants to access all of the capabilities that we just witnessed through their class page, they will need their own classroom page. So as you can see right now, we have K through 8. I picked on second grade today, but if this second grade teacher wanted to utilize everything that I demonstrated and have access to his or her individual class page, they will need to create their own class page. And let me log out here. I'm so sorry. Did that answer that question?
Yes.
Jake, is there anything else out there for me?
Yeah, I have a couple more questions here for you.
Okay.
So I have a teacher who would like to know if we post resources that are specific to a certain day, how is that done? Is it added to the general resources that we went through? Or is there a way to indicate, okay, this is a resource for a specific day?
So that is a great question, a pretty interesting question. In fact, as you can see, these resources are specific to the subject at hand. But if you want a specific resource for a day, you can add those as a class announcement that you can distribute to your class. You could also add them for a day in your resource area and then delete them once you no longer want those available. But I would suggest maybe leaving those. Resources are also viewable in the Today page. Again, we don't have anything for Thursday, but let me go back here. Nothing wants to populate, but I'm logged in as support. So that's an interesting question. Jake, you might have some feedback on how they would want to do that. You have a couple options. Again, you can post a resource as an announcement, and that will be, you can say this is your resource for August 10th. But the resources are usually used as subject-specific resources. That was kind of a long answer. And I realized that.
And I would add to that if a student, or rather if a teacher posts all of the resources to classes, they don't want them to be available after that class day. They can certainly go in and erase it from that day. However, we have found that having resources available consistently has worked well for other teachers and clients.
And that's another piece where you can use Google Classroom as well. We're not trying to take the place of a Google Classroom, but you could utilize that resource message in Google Classroom for the day.
And then, Haley, I do have a couple of questions regarding Google Classroom. One more time. Would you just mind running through how exactly the Google Classroom and Hively are linked together?
Yes, sure thing. So let me pull up, I'm actually going to switch schools again so I can show you this. Bear with me, remember that question. Let's go. All right, I'm going to take us to another test school in just a second. All right. So in this school, I'm going to take us to a class page from the drop-down menu. I'm going to go to 6th grade. And then I'm going to go to the grades tab. So again, this takes us to our gradebook feature. And let's see, you can see our list of assignments. You can also see that the students have the Google icon. This means that they are part of the Google Suite and they are synced with Google Classroom. From the back end, if I go to the subject edit screen, you again see that this says auto sync will set up new classroom in Google Classroom for this course. So this means that the 6th grade homeroom ELA class has a corresponding Google Classroom set up in Google Classroom for this teacher. So whatever the teacher grades in Google Classroom for 6th grade homeroom ELA, those grades are going to automatically be pulled into his or her Hively gradebook. Those assignments would look exactly like this, corresponding grades, calculating into the overall grade, except there would be a Google chalkboard icon underneath the assignment name to let the teacher know that he or she graded that assignment in Google Classroom. And while it's being populated in Hively, that is where it originated from. Did that answer, hopefully, a more in-depth sync to Google Classroom?
Excellent. Yes, thank you. And that is to say that in entering there, it is mitigating double data entry for teachers. They should only have to enter grades once.
Mm-hmm. And it is important to point out that this is a one-way sync. So if I select to add a new assignment in Hively and grade it, that assignment is not going to populate in Google Classroom. It's only from Google Classroom to be Hively.
Excellent. Haley, I have a few teachers who are curious, is this going to be mobile friendly, or do you have to be on a desktop computer to access this?
That is a great question. So no, this is completely mobile friendly. You do not have to be on a desktop computer. This website itself, while it is password protected, you are welcome to open it and log on your mobile phone, your iPad, or other tablet. Oh gosh, what other devices are there? Maybe Safari on a smart TV, things like that. So you can pull this up on any device. We also do have an app that is available for parents to download. It is a free app, and they can view class-wide announcements, school-wide announcements, grades, things like that. But to answer that question in summation, this website that we're looking at right now is 100% mobile friendly. That's a great question.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Keep them coming, you guys. These are great questions. If you guys think of questions after we end this meeting, you can, again, send those questions right to support@BeHively, and we would be happy to answer those there as well. And just in a recap, those are the steps that we walked through today to activate that Today page. Jake, how are we looking? Anything else?
We're looking pretty good. I haven't seen any further questions yet.
Okay. Awesome. I know this is scheduled until 11, but if you guys, have your questions answered, don't have anything else, you can go ahead and exit from the meeting, but I will be here until 11.
I have another question that just came in related to Google Classroom.
Okay.
We'd like to know, is there a way to streamline the connection to Google Classroom assignments?
That's a pretty good question. I'm probably going to ask for some more detail. Do you have something specific in mind that you would like to see or would make your job as a teacher or admin easier?
Sorry, I'll just talk. It looks like I'm going to possibly set up a meeting with one of my reps, but in our goal for this school year has been to try to just really make this as streamlined as possible for the parents, because with our last platform, they were needing to jump through various hoops to get to assignments. So one of the things that we're doing is we want to post to Google Classroom. So we're trying to figure out if it's not going to automatically sync up to BeHively, the assignments portion. Could we then just maybe put a button or something that would take the students from BeHively directly to their Google Classroom? So it's kind of a one-stop shop. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. No, that's a great question. So let's go back and view the homepage for this. And so sorry, this is just being a little difficult. So let's go back to the 6th grade homepage. So let's remember that we have, oh my gosh, so sorry. My mouse is just bugging me today. Okay, so let's go back to the school-wide section and let's remind ourselves that we have school-wide announcements. So these are permanent announcements that are always featured on this homepage, as well as spotlights. So the school can link anything they need to, whether that be a Google Classroom link, any external links, they can link here and it will be there throughout the entire year. And that holds true as well to class pages. So class pages have that same capability. They have their individual home pages and they can link any external links in announcements or permanently fixed in the welcome message or down here in the spotlight section. Again, they could link their Google Classroom link as a resource for each of these subjects as well. So that's a great question.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Did we have any outstanding questions in the chat, or you guys can still unmute yourself and talk to me too? Jake, how's our attendance looking? Do we still have folks in the meeting room?
We do still have some folks in the meeting room. Yes, indeed. We have about 22. And I would absolutely encourage anybody with questions still to go ahead and unmute yourself and please feel free to ask. I will also say that if there are further questions, we would love to be able to set up a time to discuss your specific questions one-on-one so we could really dive into more detail as opposed to having to keep it so general. And if that is something you're interested in, yeah, please just go ahead and let us know in the chat.
Yes, thank you, Jake. That's a good point to remind them.
Haley, it looks like there's a question about reporting for parents and teachers. If you want to maybe briefly go over that.
Yeah, definitely. Let me go back to Phoenix. So we do have electronic report cards that are available. Let's see if I can find an example here. So how those work is everything that is pulled from the gradebook is generated into report cards. Those can be electronically distributed to parents to view right on their phone. The student view of that, so students never see the teacher's gradebook if they are logging in. Students would only see the report options that teachers make available to view at any given time. So that was a really quick version of our report cards. If we have more in-depth questions, I would be happy to answer those as well. I found one with a reporting tab. So if I go ahead and click on that reporting tab, that will take me to my reporting hub within Hively. Again, this is just for 7th and 8th grade. But if I were to scroll down, you can see all of our different reporting options right here. Any other further questions on that?
All right. Well, I think we're looking pretty good here.
Okay, I think so too. I guess we can sign off a few 8 minutes early. Thank you again for joining us for this webinar. We'd love to talk to you guys, even if it's just to say hello. Go ahead and reach out to us again at support@behively.com or give us a call at 888-851-4879. Thank you again for spending this time with us and learning about our distance learning platform. Don't be a stranger, and hopefully we'll see you at another webinar. Thank you, everybody.